day one of my Cooking is Fun series, where I'm trying to get back into finding joy in the cooking process and not just trudging through it. Today's recipe is a little bit of a multi-layered one. We are starting with hangover spaghetti. This is the chutney lice recipe. I wish I could link it in the caption. I can't find it online anywhere. She may have taken it down because it's in her cookbook. I'm approximating everything though, so I will add everything that I'm doing into the caption. I'm vegetarian, my husband and kids eat meat, so I picked up these chicken meatballs with basil and Parmesan at Costco yesterday. There's no way I'm handling raw meat, so this is the best alternative to that. I don't know how these taste. They've never tried this specific brand, so hopefully it tastes good. And that's just for protein for them. And then I'm also pairing everything with a salad. I'm keeping it super simple. Just lettuce, cucumber, ribbon carrots, and avocado, plus salt and pepper, ranch if the kids want it. So let's get started.
If you've never heard of the phrase mise en place, you are doing yourself a disservice. This is a phrase that means everything in its place, and it basically talks about having everything prepped and ready to go as you go through the cooking process. So to start my mise en place, I just chopped up the garlic that I needed for the hangover spaghetti recipe. This is one of those semi-homemade recipes, so the base for this is Rayo's marinara. The original version she uses their arrabbiata sauce, but my kids can't handle that spice, so marinara it is. Adding chili onion crunch to that finished pasta makes a big difference though. I do blend up our sauce because no one in our house, other than my husband, likes chunky tomatoes, and because the pasta was still cooking at this time, I just set the sauce and the garlic aside and then got started on my salad. I found this adorable little lettuce at Costco this week and it's perfect for sandwiches, but I wanted to give it a rough chop to make it more bite-sized. Then just chopped up the rest of my veggies, the cucumber, this surprisingly beautiful avocado. I was genuinely surprised because it was so soft. Before I could fully chop this, I realized my water was at a boil, so I added my pasta to the water and then continued in the process. For the avocado, I just did the same thing I did for the cucumber and just gave it a rough chop. This does mash down really well, especially because this is super ripe. And then for the carrot ribbons, I just used my peeler to create the ribbons and then went in with my knife to give it a rough chop so it was easier to fork up for the kids. I like to cook my pasta just a little bit past al dente, so like a minute or two over the standard cooking time. I put my pot back on the stove to get nice and hot, and in the meantime I added the chicken meatballs to a parchment lined air fryer pan. Then to dress the salad, I just added in some salt and pepper, gave it a toss, and it was good to go. Back to the stove for the spaghetti, I added in my chopped garlic to the hot oil. I think this could have used a little bit of butter too, but I'll save that for next time. Then I added in half of the pasta sauce. You don't want this to be a very saucy pasta because it's supposed to be nice and oily and just perfectly flavored. Once those flavors had come together a little bit, I added in the pasta, gave it a mix, and then I should have added Parmesan cheese to this, but of course I forgot to buy some this week, so I added in this Italian blend cheese and it worked out just fine. I will say texture-wise, I do prefer the Parmesan though. Here's the food all plated up for the kids, and then the adult version, on my husband's at least, because I didn't have any meatballs on mine. So colorful, so filling, everyone loved it. This was such a hit. Great. Now it's time to tackle this pile of dishes, which isn't that bad considering how much I made. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.